What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Guys, before we move on and start, covering the qualification course, I want to make sure that you have all the tools that you need to successfully crush selection, all right? So in this segment, I'm going to go over some additional training guidance, that you can implement, all right? That's going to help you on all the ruck marches that you're going to face at selection, all right? Let's get to them. Rucking tip number 1. Guys, you need to make sure your rucksack is properly packed, all right? So when you're rucking, you want the bulk of the weight to be as close to your core as possible, all right? Guys, when I was training for selection, I would get 40-pound plates and put them on the inner pouch of the rucksack, and I would strap it down as close to my back as possible, all right? What you don't want is to just throw a bunch of weight inside your rucksack, and as you're walking, the weight is dragging you back, right? You want it as close to your back as possible, right? Next to your core, right? So you can move at a comfortable pace and not worry about being dragged back by the weight, all right? So rucking tip number 1, guys, make sure you pack your rucksack right, right? We'll cover some ruck packing class once we get to the qualification course, right? Rucking tip number 2, you need to ruck on sand, right? Any of you guys that's ever ran on the beach knows what I'm talking about. It's completely different from running on hardball or dirt roads, right? Guys, the location where selection is held, there's a whole lot of trails with a whole lot of sand out there, right? If selection is the first time that you're going to be rucking and running on sand, you're going to have a hard time, right? So I encourage you, to find a sandy trail and then get on there with a rucksack and do some rucking out there, right? If you do that, that's going to help you tremendously once you hit selection, all right? Rucking tip number 3, guys, ruck cross country, all right? So don't just stick to the roads. Don't just stick to the trails, all right? Don't just stick to all the sand. You need to get some terrain in there, right? See what your pace is like when you're going up elevation, right? See what it's like when you're going down elevation. Don't let selection be the first time that you experience going uphill and downhill, right? You want to show up with as much tools in your arsenal as possible, all right? So I encourage you to follow rucking tip number 3 and get some elevation and get some cross-country training in there, right? Tip number 4, guys, practice going up and down slopes, all right? Guys, there's a method and technique for taking on a hill or a steep slope, right? And I can tell you right now, it's not just charging it, right? Guys, in the military, when we go up steep slopes, we'll go up at a zigzag pattern, right? And then whenever we come down on the other end, right, you want to make sure your heel is dug in, right, and that your knees are unlocked, right? So if you haven't done it, guys, I urge you to go practice that, because you will face, steep slopes at selection. And again, don't let that be the first time that you actually navigate, all right? Guys, tip number 5, right? So let's say, you're an 18 X-ray, like the rucking concept is new to you, and you can't quite do it, right? Here's something that you can do, right? Guys, every day, throw in a ruck with some weight, starting off with 35 or 45, and just do 100 squats, all right? Do that for about a week or 2, and then hit the trail and see how your body reacts to it, all right? I know when I first started rucking, I got winded, and it was really hard on my legs, right? So I had to do a lot of lunges and a lot of squats to build up those muscles, right? And then when I did start rucking, I would go 1 to 2 miles at a time until my body, started getting used to it, right? Once my body got used to it, then I pushed the distance a little bit further. Right, guys, I hope these rucking tips are helpful, right? And I hope it encourages you to start rucking and start getting in shape so you can hit selection, right, and conquer it. I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.